Okay, so today, to deepen our connection with our food and continue daring ourselves and playing some games, we are going to take full responsibility for what we eat today. Okay, that sounds like I'm giving you some sort of, motherly nutritional advice. It's not that. It's not that. It's not that. I was going to call this one Eat from Your Own Backyard. But then I felt like it was going to feel really limiting right out of the gates. And there are other ways for us to do this besides eating from our own backyard, but we will also be including that. So instead, I would like to say this is about maybe like being responsible for your own food in a way that isn't involving just purchasing your food, okay? Because that is generally how we feel responsible for our own food, is like, yeah, I bought it. There I am. I was responsible for retrieving it with this money of mine. Here it is. I want you to be a little more responsible for retrieving it with something other than money. So maybe it's like you're a forager, but you're going to be a creative forager, because I'm not necessarily saying that you have to go out into the woods and forage for food, especially if you don't know what any food looks like. Although this is already giving us feedback, right? I mean, how far off of an idea would that be for you? How willing or unwilling are you to even do that? And what does that kind of let you know about your relationship with food? Because foraging could totally be a part of this. I mean, really. Absolutely. Look up some food. Oh my God, I'm going to get into so much trouble for telling people to just look up some food on Google Images and go find some. No, I mean, to whatever level you trust yourself. I mean, there are certain things like dandelions, right? This puffy thing that blows around. We've seen them and they are edible. So you could look up some dandelions and probably already have some awareness of dandelions and probably go forage for some of that. And that was the other thing. When I said that I was going to do this as get your food out of your backyard kind of thing, I could just right away see problems with that because, okay, what if you don't have a backyard? What if you're in an apartment complex? What if your backyard is nothing but grass? I mean, that's already us deepening with our food by realizing these things, and realizing how far away we are from a place that could produce food. So I realized there were problems with that, but this whole dandelion thing, I mean, you could grab those in between the sidewalk cracks, you can go elsewhere. There can be foraging involved. You can go drive to the park and find some things and forage some food that way, absolutely. Look up some things. Pine needle tea. You can actually drink tea or make tea from pine needles. So you can do that. You can look up a pine tree. Again, they're familiar enough to where we could look this up. And that's one way, foraging. You can go outside of your yard or you can do it in your yard. Certainly, if you have a yard, see what you can do there. Really force yourself to see what you can do there and be really responsible for in your own little world, your own little yard. And part of this too, and part of the deepening with our food is, as I said earlier, if you don't have a way, if it is just impossible for you to even eat from your own backyard, think about that. What could make it possible? Putting some little planting boxes in your windowsill or on your back porch. That it just gets your brain going about how could that be possible? How could I be closer to my food? Because gardening is also a way, and you might already have a garden. So this might be whoa, easy for you because you can go eat from your backyard for real and find some things because you've got a garden going. Or you might have, plant boxes with some food in there. So you're already a few steps ahead because you are intentionally growing some stuff. And this will be a little easier. You've got a relationship in a close proximity way with your food. But it's also not a judgment if you don't, this is all experience, and you might be thank God I don't have to do this activity every day. I hate this. I love just buying my food at the store with the money and that's fine. That is totally fine. It's obviously a viable method. This is, a method that a lot of people use, but we are just playing to get closer to, our relationship with food, or just to get in better awareness of our relationship to food. So after all of that, I'm also going to tell you that being responsible for your own food, aside from purchasing it, can absolutely include something that doesn't have to do with foraging outdoors, but maybe like foraging from your neighbors. Like, it can also be taking responsibility as the forager in other creative ways, like mooching off of some friends, asking them if you can come over for dinner tonight, going and raiding their pantry. You're basically foraging your social connections, or pulling upon your social connections to get yourself that meal, or meals, because this is an all day thing. Okay. Like, in case I wasn't clear, this is all day. You are only eating things that you are taking full responsibility for getting for yourself without just purchasing them, not in that typical way that you are responsible. You're going to get them out of your backyard. You're going to find them in somebody's yard. You're going to find them at a park. You're going to forage it, whatever. Or you're going to ask to eat with someone else. Maybe, you can grab, I'm going to allow this a little bit, some things out of your own cabinet, but I do not mean like all the fresh stuff that you just bought yesterday and, you're foraging on your own shelves. I mean the stuff that's been in there forever, like random, can of whatever, something strange like bamboo shoots or something. You can forage in your own pantry only if it's that stuff that is not in rotation. Maybe. All right. That was like my one cheat that I'm allowing you. But the rest of it is like, take responsibility for finding your meal and not just purchasing it. Take responsibility for putting together your food for the day in as many creative ways as you can. You're the forager. You're the person, as we once were, who has to find your food today. And this whole easy exchange of like paying some people money is no longer, usable. You cannot use it for today. You have to be responsible for getting yourself fed that day, in whatever crazy ways you can come up with. I hope you enjoy.